if anyone's familiar with that neighborhood, it was just very horrific, very tough, very gruesome kind of place, you know, kill to be killed. And a lot of my friends at that time, right now, a lot of my friends are dead that I grew up with. They're not around anymore. Else they're in jail for the rest of their life. Else they're really strung out on dope somewhere in Brooklyn. I got arrested one day, and eventually they sent me upstate. I went to Tryon Detention for Boys, upstate New York. I met a gentleman by the name of Bobby Stewart. His name was Irish Bobby Stewart that he fought under. I would see guys on Saturdays or Fridays who would go and box with him. And once he started teaching me how to box, he realized I was getting close to getting parole to go back to Brooklyn. He said, I don't want you to go back to Brooklyn because you'll get in trouble and get killed to go to jail. I want you to go to this man, this guy could take you to the next level. And at that time, I was probably 1980, I met Damato.
Oh, he said hello to me. Come in. He really said hello to me. Oh, who is this guy? Oh, Ali. Wow. Oh, I don't think he's a good fighter. You really think so? What makes you think so? Well, you must have some reason to think that.
I didn't trust him because I didn't trust anybody but Bobby Stewart at that particular time. But he said, just trust this man. Trust this man. And it was like he was transferring me over to another person, and I didn't trust anybody but him.
I don't trust anybody in general. I don't like people to know me at all. And I just recently trust him because the same much I trust him, I guess he trusts me. And he trusts me a lot. So, and nobody really knows Mike Tyson. Nobody's really friendly with Mike Tyson. Why? Except Damato.
And I started believing in this old man. He broke me down and rebuilt me. I was just like a total different person. Mostly
it just changed my life because he helped me to deal with people. I know how to deal with people now. Before, I couldn't talk to people. I always want to be alone. And now I learned how to deal with anyone. I could talk to anyone, even about their problems. And it's like a father and son relationship. You know, even though he is my manager and trainer. The first day he met me, he took me in his house. He didn't even know me.
I can say honestly, I have a very deep affection for him, I do. To me, he's my boy, he's with me. But I often say to him, you know, I owe you a lot, and he doesn't know what I mean, but I'm going to tell him now what I mean. If he weren't here, I probably wouldn't be alive today. The fact that he is here and doing what he's doing, and doing as well as he's doing, and improving as he has, gives me the motivation and interest to stay alive. Because I believe that a person dies when they no longer wants to live. But I have a reason with Mike here, and he gives me the motivation. I will stay alive, and I will watch him become a success, because I will not leave until that happens.
He spoke with me every night about discipline and character.
It is the mark of a great fighter when he has character plus skill, because a fighter with character and skill will often rise and beat a better fighter because of this. Character is that quality upon which you can depend under pressure and other conditions. Character makes the fighter predictable. Character helps him win.
And then one day he used to say, listen, you have the chance to change your life, your family's life. You could be something very special. Don't you want to be champion? You could be champion of the world. And I didn't pay no attention to it. He said, really? You could be champion of the world. You could devastate the world. No man could take what you did. You just got to believe it. I looked at this guy, and then I started thinking. I said, you really? I said, this guy's really crazy. He said, you do what I tell you to do, and if it doesn't work, then you could leave. So I said, okay, bet. So I did everything he told me to do, and I won. I won every championship from the amateur championship. I won all the championships. I'm gonna cry. So I won every championship that he told me, because he told me what to do. When I was 14, Tush used to tell me about all this. We would talk about the old fighters or something, and then we go through another hour, we talk about girls. It was just like my big brother of my father talking about my father. And Cuss always strived. He said, you could be a champ, even at a young age. And I believe in, like, I developed that kind of confidence in him. And we just made it, that was the destiny, no matter whatever happened. And he discussed times that he wasn't feeling well and he doesn't think he's going to be around. But he said no matter what, the job must go on. I did miss him a lot, but even besides, before when Cus was around, I was always that way. I used to always keep things to myself. I always kept things to myself, but it's just that I let some things out. I spoke to him about some things that were on my mind. But when things get on my mind now, I don't talk to anyone about it. If Cus was around, he would tell me things, and he would explain this is what I would do, and so I would tell him, yes, but just don't worry about it, Cus, everything's gonna be all right. And he knew not to worry about it.
Coward and a hero, they're the same. I mean, they feel the same. It's what they do that makes it different. In other words, the hero feels just as frightened as the coward. But it's what he does that makes him different. It's what he does that makes him a hero, and what the other fellow doesn't do that makes him a coward. It's just as simple. It isn't that they're any different. They aren't any different.
Oh, Cus, he was the kind of person, he loved the trade as well, but he was the kind of man, he thought more about principles than anything, and about the care of his fighter. Nothing meant more to him. The money, nothing meant more. I never met a person like that. The principle meant everything. And I feel I was blessed to even know him, you know what I mean?
Coward and a hero, there is no difference. It's what he does that makes him a hero.
I can't see him lose.
When his mother died, he asked me if I should be his mother. It'd be all right if you call me mother. I said, yes, Mike. So from that time, I became his mother. Cus became his father. That his first wife in Albany he did not call. And he stayed out, went out with in a group of the people over the night. He came about 8 o'clock in the morning. He knocked at my door, asked me if he could come over to see me. He came and he just sat there. I said, how did you make out? He says, I made good. He said, I was looking for somebody that wasn't there. And the tears were just rolling down his face. So he said, Cus was not there. That he could not tell me. He said, everybody tells me I do good. He says, but nobody tells me if I do bad. He says, it doesn't matter how good I would do, I would have done. Cus would always find something that I did wrong.
It's a career filled with promise and hope, one which has already brought redemption to a life where it couldn't have been expected. It is an ongoing journey for Mike Tyson, each step a monument to Cus Damato.
Say you, say me, say it for always. That's the way it should be.
A boy comes to me with a spark of interest. I feed that spark and it becomes a flame. I feed the flame and it becomes a fire. I feed the fire and it becomes a roaring blaze.
Makes him feel like a warrior. Makes him feel like a gladiator. champion. Now listen, if you get in close and I tell you to break your stop punching and step back clean. Any question from the challenger or chief second? Any question from the champion or chief second? All right, let's get it on. Come on.
All right, and with the words of Mills Lane, we're ready. I don't know about you folks, but here at the Hilton Hotel, there is electricity in the crowd. I've got goosebumps. On the line, the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Mike Tyson has trained his whole life for this. His whole life has been for this night. But Trevor wants to prove that he's one of the great champions. Let's see how long his reign lasts. Tyson goes to work right away, and he gets Trevor in trouble, and he's down. He'll have to take the standing 8 count as he steps right off the count for 4 and 5 and 6 and 7. Look at this combination, and Berwick ready to go, but he stays on his feet. Another right hand clips it. He can't take shots like this very long. Wow, the right hand is Mike. Mike going Tyson to the win. Again, he's won. Here comes Tyson again. He knows he can hurt him anytime. Left hook, hit down on foot. Trevor's ready to go again. Tyson knows that he can score at will now. He's in total command in this fight right now. We're only in round 2, and the heavyweight champ already reeling is Trevor Berwick. It's just a matter of time before Mike gets the clean shot. Then he goes the body downstairs, catches him with the right hand upstairs. 20 years old, Mike Tyson on his way to becoming one of the youngest heavyweight champions of all time. Bangs the body. Wow, that uppercut is Tyson. Catches him with the right left hook, and he goes down. He goes down. He should be able to get up from this. His legs may be shut. They are. And Trevor Berwick falls back in the rope. I don't know if he's going to be able to continue. He's got the heart, but his body won't let him do what his mind wants to. And he's counted out. It'll be scored as a knockout. Mills Lane counted him out to 10. It's all over. We've got a brand new heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson.
I'd like to dedicate my fight to my great guardian, Damato, and I'm sure he's up there and he's looking and he's talking to all the great fighters and saying his boy did it.
And smiling, that's right.
Damato, when he first saw you at the age of 13, 14, he said to you, stay with me and you can be the heavyweight champion of the world.
Yeah.
How do you know that?
That's what I said. I said this is a genius. You can't, everything he said happened. Isn't it true? Everything he said happened with him.
Right.
Cus always depended everything on character and determination. He saw I had the character and not the experience. But he saw that I was good enough to fight more experienced fighters.
Even when he won the heavyweight championship, he still slept on the couch. He had no car, no jewelry. He didn't even have clothes. I mean, he stayed in my apartment. I would wash my clothes and put on my underwear, and they're all stretched out. I say, Mike, man, get your own underwear. He said, nah, I don't want to spend any money, you know. He was the happiest kid in the world. When you look at his face back then, in every video, every interview, his eyes were sparkling, sparkling.
But what really was more important to everyone around him, Cus, Kate, Jacobs, me, was what Mike did out of the ring. Because that really was something that was very important to Cus, to see how Mike handled himself out of the ring and what he accomplished out of the ring. And actually, what he accomplished out of the ring was more important than what he did in the ring.
She said she was pregnant, they got married.
Before they got married, she was terrific. She was kind, she was warm, she was considerate. But once they got married, she announced, I'm Mrs. Mike Tyson, and I'm taking over.
I'm Mrs. Tyson. Everything goes through me. And they start spending his money.
I am Mrs. Mike Tyson, and I'm taking over. I demand this, and I demand this. I said, wait a minute.
I knew we were in trouble. I knew Mike was in trouble. I said, this is going to be bad. This is bad. This is bad.
In training, Tyson looked great as he prepared for another title defense. But outside of the gym, things were getting badly out of control. Robin Gibbons' mother, Ruth Rover, was painted in newspaper stories as the architect of a scheme to grab Tyson's millions.
And that was scary. You know, I knew that Jim and Bill could handle it. I knew that I could handle it, but I was more concerned about Mike because I knew he wanted a family. I knew he thought he wanted to settle down. I felt that it would be make him more of give him more confidence. It would give him more stability. It'd make him a better person, make him a better fighter. But Robin's choice, Robin's focus was not that. Her focus was to get Mike's money.
Allegations that Givens and her mother were trying to eliminate the people who'd brought Tyson to greatness. With a vicious behind-the-scenes battle for control, only in the ring did Tyson seem safe. But that too would change.
She was a sociopath. She was able to destroy someone like Mike, slit his throat, take his money, and then go have dinner, and then go to sleep. That takes tremendously horrible character to be able to do that.
He would be warm and friendly on the phone. Bill, what's going on? What's going to be, discussion. Suddenly his voice would change. Almost like I'm talking to a completely different person. I said, Mike, what happened? I thought something happened. First time it happened. Robin walked in.
I forgot what it was like for a young guy to think he was in love, to be in love, to think you're in love, and lose the woman of your dreams, to lose this woman. For whatever reason, Mike was distraught. He was really sad. He didn't show it, he's a professional, but I should have realized he was that sad, that emotionally distraught. He was not a hero anymore. Then he was a very unhappy young guy.
Jim Jacobs assumed the place in Tyson's heart that had been held by Damato. The friend, the mentor, the replacement for the father that he never knew.
Damato was a good friend to Jim.
You have poor Cuss and poor Jimmy gone. All these forces struggling for the soul of Mike Tyson. Now we have Don King at the gate. This is a man who does not discourage easily.
Jim Jacobs' death, Robin Givens destroying him mentally, physically, emotionally, Mike would have been fine. It was that incredibly horrible effect of Robin that started everything going bad. And the result was an entree for Don King to walk in.
Don King had become Tyson's new father figure. If Tyson had spent his life in search of someone to replace the dad he'd never had.
You love me, Mike?
Love you.
All right.
No. Get off me. Get off my hand.
He, without seeing, let him catch the first stone.
Don, did you ever steal from him?
For Don to do one thing and one thing only, steal Mike's money.
I felt like Mike was kidnapped into the Don King cult and brainwashed.
Don is a master of finding a person's weakness.
Cuss once told me, I never forgot that. He said, hey, there's animals disguised as human beings out here. You're not sophisticated enough to decipher the two.
What happened was Don brilliantly knew that he had to get rid of everyone around Mike so that he could steal the money.
Kevin Rooney was a wonderful trainer for him. Kevin Rooney loved him, but Don King made him fire Kevin Rooney. And I think the day Tyson fired Kevin Rooney, there was a cap put on Mike Tyson's development as a fighter.
He'd no longer slip punches. He came right in straight. He didn't bob and weave. He didn't punch in combination. He was no longer the same fighter he was when he was being taught by Kevin Rooney.
But under Don King, not only did his character and morals decline and erode, his boxing technique.
With Kevin, the physical was always very good, but more important, Mike was very strong mentally and emotionally. That gave him tremendous strength emotionally and kept him relaxed, kept him happy. Once Mike was taken over by Don, physically he was fine, no problem. But mentally and emotionally, he was in a hellhole.
Trained less and less, hung out more and more with these pimps and drug dealers and rap musicians. And there was no one in his life to reinforce the positive values, and no one in his life who loved him enough to say, no, you can't do that.
Tyson was never meant to be a great champion. He didn't have the character. He was meant to be a shooting star. He was meant to be a sensational shooting star.
That when Mike was young in Brooklyn, he was a terror of, horrible. And I'm sure that in Catskill early on, with Cuts, he was a terror early on. But Cuts knew. Cuts wasn't a kid. He had decades of experience with kids like that. And he knew that Mike, if given the right surroundings, would slowly learn to be a better person.
So when Mike was drilled by Cuss to be that type of character, what Don did brilliantly was put him back in the street mentality.
They didn't want to see a guy with Don King who's controversial and black and not afraid to talk, you know what I mean, and fight and hit racism in the face and say, you're a racist pig, you're, you know what I mean, fascist. Being black is bad in this country when you really look at it. From my perspective of where we came from, that's bad.
In the same calculated way, with forethought and surgical skill, that Damato took away all the things that were around Mike from Brooklyn. The hate, the racism, the con jobs, the contempt for everyone, the sly moves, they were put back on by Don King. It was a brilliant move in taking Mike over, but in the process of destroying Mike Tyson. But Don didn't care, because to Don, the only thing that mattered was how many people came to watch him fight, and where's the money? That's it.
Mike Tyson now entered uncharted territory. He was spinning out of control between depression, anger, and rage.
How about the 19 months off?
What about it? What about it?
Does it pose any problem to you?
We'll see. I doubt it seriously.
You take into the ring a lot of rage.
You know, who cares? We're in a fight anyway. What does it matter?
Well, for example, rage against Evander Holyfield worked against you.
Well, it's a fight, so whatever happens, happens.
Mike, why do you have to talk like that?
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you. You have a problem, turn off your station.
You know what? I think we'll end the discussion right now.
Then we could.
You got it. Have a nice fight, Mike.
Fuck off.
Punk ass white boy. Come in and tell me that if I fuck you in your ass, you punk white boy, you faggot. You can't touch me, you're not man enough. I'll eat your ass on the lot, bitch. Fuck you, you hoe. Come and say to my face, fuck you, ass for everybody. You bitch, come on, you bitch. You scared coward. You're not man enough to fuck with me. You can't last 2 minutes in my world, bitch. Look at you scared now, you hoe. Scared of little white pussy. Scared of the real man. I'll fuck with you, love me, faggot.
Know Mike Tyson, you got to understand him. And the people that I knew that knew Mike Tyson understood that wasn't Mike. That was not Mike.
This is beyond a freak show. I'm looking at the dark side of the moon. I don't know what I'm seeing here.
It was Mike Tyson, just devolving and devolving.
He was very, very insecure. So insecure, he would not look you in the face, look you in the eye and talk to you.
Mike's career is a graphic reflection of who he was and what he wanted. He wanted to self-destruct.
You don't have to be a rocket scientist to start an interview. And he said to me, I went on a boardwalk. And I said, great. I said, what do you think about it? He said, I think about Cuss. And some of the things he told me. And how right he was about some things. And how he's not here anymore to help me. And then I began to think about different things. And he said, it occurs to me how much more fun it used to be. I mean, it wasn't about money then so much. We were all like a family. We were together. But then suddenly everything, he said, they died, and meaning Cuss and Jimmy, he said, and everything became money, money, money. And he said, and now it's like I don't have anybody to talk to. Now, this is a newlywed saying this. And he leans forward and he grabs me. and he's got his head against my chest. And he is clearly going through absolute total hysteria, and the water is flowing. So much to the point that when the interview was over, I had to go back upstairs and change my shirt.
I lost that belief in myself once Cuss died, once I went through my divorce. I lost that belief in myself. I lost that in all these great quotes and poems. And I just lost that. I just lost that when I lost my mentor, I lost my friends. All that stuff died when they died. Well, I didn't necessarily feel like an animal. I just felt like a afraid human being, that everybody was against me. I was scared of everybody and everyone.
He knows that he's a jerk. He knows that he's been taken for a ride by all the people around him. That's what makes him angry. And when he's yelling and screaming, you can almost see him crying because he knows that this is not where he wants to be. Yet he doesn't have the wherewithal to pull himself out.
How many times does one individual have to be asked, are you sorry for what you did? This, you know what I mean, man? Mike, just, you relax. I gotta be on my you know, Mike, you relax.
Ruined my life. Internally. Ruined my life. And, do you think I want to do it again?
Destruction of a young man's dream. That's all.
And my philosophy was like people basically because really, you know what I mean? They're always trying to
Everyone?
No, you know, you run into, you have these different occasions where you run into nice people, you know what I mean? But, you know, you've been to experience, you know, they really, they don't have no emotion towards human feelings, you know? I grew up with Cuss, you know what I mean? And we never had a value for money, you know what I mean? Cuss main objective, you know what I mean? He said, just because said, money's a force of security, you know what I mean? Don't put a whole bunch of trust in it, you know what I mean? It helps you get out of a lot of problems, but you know what I mean? Don't rely on it, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? Have a great deal of independence, you know what I mean? The main objective is to be your own man, to be independent. And you know what I mean? Once you have a family and you have a wife, there's no longer you. Your family comes first. Your career doesn't come before your family. Your family comes first. You know what I mean?
The Tyson story is more in my opinion anyway, the Damato story.
Well, I had a great teacher in Damato who smoothed the rough edges out and everything. And besides the point, I always had good character. And it's just the way I am. That I had love from Cuss and Camille, and I was just happy, you know what I mean? I never thought about making a lot of money, having money and everything. I was just happy. Just plain old fun made me happy.
Most people remember the bad Mike Tyson, the period of 1989. But back then in 84, 85, 86, 87, Mike was huge and hugely popular because of the people around him. Damato, Caton, Jacobs, the friends Mike had in New York. The people around him had tremendous character, very high, solid character.
Team Tyson was the perfect team for boxing.
The undisputed, the undefeated heavyweight champion of the world, Mike Tyson!
I feel I was blessed to even know him. I became totally loyal to him.
I can't see him lose.
And remember, character helps him win.
He was the happiest kid in the world. No car, no jewelry.
because a custom model.
His eyes were sparkling.